Welcome back to Ava and Ben's English Loft. We are broadcasting to you right from our cozy home here in New York City. I'm Ava, and sitting across from me, as always, is Ben. How are you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing wonderful, Ava. The sun is shining over Manhattan. I have a fresh cup of coffee in my hand, and I'm ready to dive into today's episode.
I love that energy. Today, we are doing something a little bit different, guys. Usually, Ben and I share crazy stories or talk about big language mix-ups. But today, we want to give you a tool you can use immediately in your everyday life. We are talking about how to describe your daily routine. Forget the textbooks. Learn real English with us. Welcome to the Loft.
Yes, this is such an important topic. Whether you are meeting a new coworker, chatting with friends, or practicing your English, people always ask, what do you usually do during the week? Or what does a normal day look like for you?
Exactly. So for the first part of our show today, Ben and I are going to do a little role play. We are going to have a completely natural, grammatically pristine conversation about our daily schedules. Listen closely to how we structure our day and the time words we use. Ready, Ben?
Let's do it.
So, Ben, I feel like our schedules have been so hectic lately. Walk me through a typical Monday for you. What time does your day actually start?
Well, on a normal Monday, my alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. I usually lie in bed for about 5 minutes to wake up, and then I get up at 6:35 a.m. The very first thing I do is head straight to the kitchen to make a fresh pot of coffee. I cannot function without it.
I can definitely confirm that. You are like a zombie before that first sip. Do you eat breakfast right away?
No, I don't. While the coffee is brewing, I take a quick shower and get dressed. I like to wear something comfortable but sharp, especially if I have video calls later. By 7:15 a.m., I sit down with my coffee and a bowl of oatmeal with fresh berries. While I eat, I usually check the news on my phone or read a chapter of a book. What about you, Ava? Are you an early bird too?
Oh, absolutely not. I am a total night owl, so mornings are tough for me. My alarm rings at 7:15 a.m., but I usually hit the snooze button at least twice. I finally drag myself out of bed around 7:30 a.m.
Haha, I know. I always try to avoid texting you before 8 a.m.
That is a very wise choice. Once I am up, I move fast. I brush my teeth, do a quick skincare routine, and get dressed. I usually skip a heavy breakfast and just make a green smoothie to take with me. I leave my apartment by 8:15 a.m. because I love walking to work. It takes me about 25 minutes, and it really helps me clear my head before the day begins. When do you start working?
I work from home most days, so my commute is incredibly short, just a 5-second walk from my bedroom to my desk. I sit down at my computer precisely at 8 a.m. First, I spend about 30 minutes responding to urgent emails and organizing my to-do list for the day. Then, from 8:30 a.m. until noon, I focus on my heaviest projects because that is when my mind is sharpest.
That is very disciplined. I arrive at my office around 8:40 a.m. I say a quick hello to my team, grab a tea, and my first meeting usually starts at 9 a.m. sharp. My mornings are packed with team huddles, brainstorming sessions, and phone calls. Before I know it, it's lunchtime.
Ah, lunch. The best part of the day. Do you usually go out to eat?
Sometimes, if I have time, I'll grab a salad with a colleague from a deli down the street. But most days, I bring a leftover homemade meal from the night before and eat it at my desk while scrolling through social media. I take about a 30-minute break. What do you do for lunch at home?
At around 12:30 p.m., I shut my laptop and step away from the desk. I think it is so important to change environments. I usually make a quick turkey sandwich or a wrap. After eating, I go outside for a 15-minute walk around the block just to get some fresh air and stretch my legs. It prevents that afternoon slump. Then, I'm back at my desk by 1:15 p.m.
That afternoon stretch is a game changer. My afternoons are usually a bit quieter than my mornings. I spend that time doing focused work, writing reports, and finishing up administrative tasks. I usually wrap things up and leave the office around 5:30 p.m.
I finish up around 5 p.m. I make it a strict rule to close my laptop and put it away so I can transition into evening mode.
And what does your evening look like?
3 nights a week, I go straight to the gym after work. I lift weights or do some cardio for about an hour. On the other days, I just head home and relax. I cook dinner around 7 p.m. I love trying new recipes. It's how I unwind. After dinner, I wash the dishes, clean up the kitchen, and then I finally hit the couch. I might watch an episode of a TV show or call a friend.
Wow, you get a lot done. For me, after I leave the office at 5:30 p.m., I usually run a few errands. I'll stop by the grocery store to pick up ingredients for dinner or drop off my dry cleaning. I get home around 6:30 p.m. My evening routine is all about winding down. I cook a simple dinner with my roommate, and we eat together while talking about our days.
That sounds really nice. What time do you usually head to sleep?
Well, since I struggle to wake up early, I try to be in bed by 11 p.m. Before sleeping, I love to spend about 15 minutes journaling or meditating to clear my mind. By 11:30 p.m., it's lights out. What about you?
I'm usually asleep by 10:30 p.m. I read a few pages of a book in bed, turn off the lamp, and I'm out like a light. And then we get up and do it all over again.
And scene. Fantastic job, Ben. That was a perfectly smooth, grammatically flawless breakdown of a standard daily routine.
Thank you, Ava. It feels great to talk about a normal day. Now, let's break down some of the language patterns we just used, because describing your daily routine relies on a few specific grammatical structures that our listeners can easily copy.
Absolutely. The first thing you probably noticed is the tense we used. When you talk about habits, routines, or things you do regularly, you almost always use the present simple tense.
Exactly. I said my alarm goes off, I make coffee, I sit down. You don't say I am making coffee every morning because it's a repeated habit, not something happening right this second. It's just the base form of the verb.
Yes, but remember the golden rule of the present simple. When you talk about someone else, like he, she, or it, you have to add an S or ES to the verb. For example, Ben said, "My alarm goes off," because an alarm is an it. Or if I talk about Ben, I would say, Ben works from home, or he wakes up early.
Another key element we used throughout the conversation is what we call adverbs of frequency. These are words that tell the listener how often you do something.
Right. Let's list a few that appeared in our chat, ordered from most frequent to least frequent. Always, 100% of the time. For example, I always try to avoid texting you before 8 a.m. Usually/normally, around 80 to 90% of the time. For example, I usually lie in bed for 5 minutes. Often, around 70% of the time. Sometimes, around 50% of the time. For example, sometimes I'll grab a salad. Rarely/seldom, around 10% of the time. Never, 0% of the time.
Notice where these words go in the sentence. They typically sit directly before the main verb. For example, I usually skip breakfast, or I always start work at 8 a.m.
But if you are using the verb to be, the adverb goes after it. For example, I am always tired in the morning, or mornings are usually busy.
We also used a lot of great time linkers to make the story flow naturally. If you just say, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast. It sounds like a robot is speaking.
Exactly. To sound more fluid, use transition words to connect your actions. Here are the ones we use today. First slash. The first thing I do is. Then. Next. After that slash. After eating. Before sleeping slash before long. Finally.
For example, instead of 2 short sentences, you can combine them. I make a cup of coffee and then I check my emails. It sounds instantly more advanced.
Let's look at a few excellent vocabulary terms and phrasal verbs that we used for daily routines. To go off. When an alarm rings. For example, my alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. To get up versus to wake up. Waking up means your eyes open and you are conscious. Getting up means you actually physically leave the bed. Early bird versus night owl. An early bird loves the mornings. A night owl feels most energetic late at night. To wrap things up. A casual business idiom that means to finish or complete a task or a workday. For example, I wrap things up at 5:30 p.m. To unwind. To relax and let go of stress after a long day.
These phrases are incredibly common in everyday American English. If you can use them naturally, you will sound very confident.
That brings us to the end of today's episode in the Loft. We hope this step-by-step breakdown gives you the perfect template to talk about your own daily schedule.
Now, we want to hear from you. What does your typical morning look like? Are you an early bird or a night owl? Write a few sentences describing your daily routine in the comment section below so you can practice what you learned today.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us a thumbs up, and share this episode with a friend who is practicing their English. Thank you for hanging out with us in the Loft today. Keep practicing, stay curious, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya!